Welcome back to a special edition of Home World.
Absolutely a special edition. Thank goodness for franchise season, right?
I'm telling you what, thank goodness that we're in Orlando where the whole world comes to do conferences. So our guest today is somebody that I met last year at a franchise conference.
We both met him down there.
Absolutely. And we just been in touch for the past year. Been following this brand for a long time.
Yep.
Started with Mighty Dog Roofing, and then, of course, it grew into HorsePower Brands. And so we are so lucky to have Tony Hulbert here. Tony, welcome.
Thank you, guys. You are far too generous and nice with the compliments on the front end, but appreciate the time and appreciate being here.
Absolutely. And then Tony is the CEO of HorsePower Brands. And those who don't know HorsePower, we're going to get really into them today.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've been a fan for a while. So, Tony, thank you for coming in. I'll tell you what, let's just start real fast with kind of like how you even got into the franchise world, where you kind of came from. And then I want to dig into Mighty Dog and HorsePower and all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I always enjoyed talking first how I got into entrepreneurship and then how that led me into franchising. But actually out of college, became a CPA. And the only reason I went the CPA route is I was really good in school with anything finance, numbers, or accounting based. And the teacher said, hey, one of the things you could consider is becoming a CPA. And I said, what's that? I was the first kid in my family to go to college. And so I had to learn all those things on my own. I had to figure out what a CPA was, but I said, guaranteed job when I graduate college sounded like the right thing for me to do at the time. I actually loved it. Did that for 4 or 5 years, fell in love with actually going out on audits and taxes. But what I found that I fell in love with is actually having conversations with the owners of these businesses. And these businesses were 30 million plus in revenue, large businesses that required an audit or a firm of our size. But oftentimes it was the person who started it 10, 15, 20 years. And I was probably one of the few people that worked for that firm that would actually enjoy just sitting down and asking those questions. And I would sit there and as much time as I could get, like this podcast, I would just continue to ask questions. That led me into an opportunity to become a CFO of a company, a beverage distribution company that had the rights to PepsiCo. So that system, long story short, was 7 families that came together. We formed a central management group, C-level suite, and we bought each one of those families beverage rights. So we operate around the Midwest. I did that as a CFO, and I went from the not so traditional path is I went from a CFO in that company to a vice president of sales and marketing. And because, again, I fell in love with the business and the process, and through the acquisitions, I got involved with the integrations of the new companies into our portfolio and really worked with people. And they actually sent me, the CFO, out to these new acquisitions and helped with the integrations because I was really good at working with teams and building people up and bringing people in. They took a bet on me to get me into a vice president of sales and marketing, which then I was over about 150 people reported up through me. And I fell in love with leadership. I fell in love with making decisions, building up teams, culture, morale, all that good stuff. Went from there to entrepreneurship. And so I joined a group and complete decision that, my family's never asked, like, what are you doing? They always just trust in what I was going to do. But I joined 2 young people at the time, 2 young men that owned 40 nutrition stores, and they needed a CFO mindset and somebody that could continue to help them grow. And so they hired me on. I did earn equity through that portfolio. We grew over 68 stores, 17 states, 250 plus employees, and the 3 of us were all in our 30s. And so signing long-term leases, all these good things. Long story short there, we were able to sell those stores successfully, but that was actually part of a franchise system. And so I'm from Nebraska, but this all ties back to Omaha, Nebraska. That franchise system was actually founded and started in Omaha. So that brought me into the franchise space. Many of the names you guys know in the franchise space come from Omaha, Nebraska. It's a bit of a hub. From there, got to know Josh Skolnick, who's our founder of HorsePower Brands. He's invested the capital. He's got a history of franchising. He's owned 2 brands in the home service space, was able to exit those brands with some of that capital he's invested into HorsePower. We started with Mighty Dog Roofing, as you guys mentioned on the onset. We've acquired another 8 brands and launched them in a short, less than 5-year time period. So it's just incredibly busy. And I've figured out that I like to be a part of high growth, high energy things, whatever, if that's a business or anything else in life. It just gives me a ton of energy. I've enjoyed this role, CEO role. I was able to get that opportunity about 10 months into HorsePower, and I was employee number 5. So it's just been a massive growth and a fun ride.
Yeah, and then so HorsePower is only 5 years old, you said?
That's correct.
Wow, incredible.
And how many employees do you own?
We have 150 employees at HorsePower, about 450 franchisees, over 1,500 territories, and we intend to. Our target is to hit 275 million in system-wide sales at the end of here in 2025, our 5th year.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, it's good to have goals, isn't it?
Small goals, right?
Small goals.
Yeah.
Small goals. So curious about the other brands, and just I'm sure you have 9 total.
9 total.
All right. So I know of Groovy Hughes,
Bumblebee Blinds.
Gatsby Windows.
Gatsby Glass.
Glass.
Yep. Premier Windows and Glass. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, Mighty Dog. All right. What else is there?
Let's see what's. I'm going to go in the order of the acquisitions because I was familiar with that. Mighty Dog Roofing was the first one. Then we went into Blingle Outdoor Lighting, so landscape lighting, holiday lighting. And then we went into insulation, iFoam, like foam spray, iFoam insulation, Heroes Lawn Care, Gatsby Glass, Groovy Hughes Painting, Bumblebee Blinds, Stand Strong Fencing, and Varsity Zone Heating and Air.
Excellent. No drywall brands in there, Bill.
And no drywall. That's why. Hey, this is the meeting of minds. Maybe things are coming together here.
Yes, maybe. Good.
I'm curious, what attracted you to those specific? Obviously, they're all home services, and that's what you guys do.
Right. Yeah.
But what was appealing about those brands? Why did you choose those?
Yeah, we've been more strategic in the last 3 brands. So I'd be lying to tell you that we were strategic in the beginning, that we got a little bit of luck, and then what opportunities came to us. As we looked at strategic, we want to be in the home. We want to be everything in the home, which relates to our Howie project, and we can get into that if you guys want. Mm-hmm. But everything in the home, and then we look to where's like the total addressable market? Where's the majority of the dollars going? Where are the homeowners spending most of their money? And so we know industries like restoration, which you guys get into with the repair and restoration with the drywall specifically, is a key category we want to be into in the future. Plumbing, electrical, flooring, kitchen, bathroom, and potentially garage and decks. We plan to be in those areas, in those spaces. There's enough total addressable market to build a national brand around. A lot of people will ask potentially around like window cleaning, pool maintenance, pest control. We're not opposed to those areas. I just don't think that those will be our priority over the next 5 years. But hopefully we want to complete this all the way out and essentially offer a service for every home service that's out there within their portfolio.
Well, it's funny because you talk to a lot of people, especially all the coaches that we talk about. And obviously when the person who doesn't know about franchising hears the word franchise, they think brick and mortar, restaurants, whatever, right? But being into, like us, have a business from your house. For us, it's a lower entry point than buying a brick and mortar store. And then having the ability to work in home services has really like led people down this great path, because home services is such a market that it's always been maintained by the local market. And we want to make sure, obviously, that all of our owners have the support of a nationwide brand, but they act like a home.
That's correct.
Like a local market person.
Yeah.
When they're getting tagged on Facebook, they're not tagging Hole in the Wall first, they're tagging the owner first, for those leads. And so do you see home services as just like the next fitness craze, or is this something that's going to be around for a while?
I think it's been around for a while. At HorsePower, we like to say we're building people that build businesses. I think we all do that in franchising, whether it's restaurants, fitness, home services. We're all trying to build people that are going to build businesses. We're trying to find those next entrepreneurs and create a system and a community around that. And the power of franchising, I think one of the key power or benefits is the community that is built up through that system, and where peer-to-peer you can talk to other business owners in that community that are literally doing the exact same service you're doing under the same trademark, following the same processes the franchisor built. And now you can lean on your peers and have somebody to at least talk to and be able to reach out to, along with your franchisor or through business coaches and everything that you guys do for your brand. That's an additional benefit. But home services for us, it'll be around, it's recession resistant, we now know it's pandemic resistant.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think if you can build moats around your business like a castle and build these moats, things that protect you. We know in home services that you get this territory, and at the end of the day, there's still people that have to fulfill that service. There are no robots right now in your guys' service or any of our services, and it still requires people to deliver quality work on time at the price proposed and being able to do that consistently within a community. So I think home services is going to be around for a long time. It's actually one of the reasons. Listen, I had actually a really good job, and before joining Mighty Dog Roofing and HorsePower, it took me 5 months to make the decision. And the person that got me there was Josh Skolnick, who had to teach me home services. And he had a tree care business and dumpster removal business. And he had to talk to me a lot about the power of home services and the returns in there and what you can build just by the grit, the resilience, and being an active owner. So
I'll tell you one of the metrics that we love, 148 million homes in the U.S.
Yep, I love that. Yeah,
and we realize that people don't have the skills. We talk about this a lot. When I was a kid in the 70s, my dad wanted to paint the house. He'd go to Sears, buy weather beater paint, get a paintbrush, and then spend a couple of weekends painting, do any kind of home service. But people just don't hold those skills anymore.
Yeah.
And with that many roofs, with that many homes in the U.S., man, that's a solid market. What we realize is the way people fix things, they know how to fix everything. And it's make a phone call, write a check.
Mm-hmm. And that's me. The generation that's coming up is moving there more than ever.
Yeah.
But that's me. I hire people to do work. I don't spend the time doing it. And now I'm further in life where an hours of my time, I put a value to it. And so if I can hire somebody to do it, I'm actually the perfect customer, because if you're the first one to show up on time and deliver a proposal and it's not completely outrageous, you have my business. I don't even have time for a second or third proposal, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I at the IPG during speed networking, one of the brokers sat down and says, "Why do I need hole in the wall? Why can't I just do it myself?" And he was like dumbfounded that drywall repair was even a brand, right? And I look at it and I go, well, I can make coffee myself, but somehow Starbucks stays in business.
Exactly.
So not everybody can, whether you're like me that I don't want to, or maybe you're elderly, you can't, or maybe you don't have time to, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you got a wife that stays at home, you're traveling around the world doing your job, making money, someone's got to fix that drywall, right? Someone's got to put that fence up. Someone's got to paint your house. And so it was funny because by the end of that 7-minute session with him, I think he understood a little bit, but I'm not sure he'll be selling us any leads anytime soon. You mentioned one thing earlier, which I really thought was important. It's almost one of those consequences that I didn't realize early on. But now that we have 10 locations plus the home headquarters here, is we're in group chats, we're in Facebook groups. These guys talk to each other all the time. The owners, all my owners, we're sharing ideas, we're celebrating wins, we're coaching through, situations. I had one owner needs to hire more employees, but he didn't have the time to go through the resume. So, and he's in like East Salt Lake City. And then my guy in Raleigh, North Carolina said, well, listen, I've hired thousands of people.
I'll vet those for you.
Send me your resumes and I'll vet the employees for you. It's like helping each other out across the country.
It's amazing.
It's like, how do I put that into words? I'm doing all my validation calls, all my founders calls and stuff. And I don't know how to word this just right to understand that when you get awarded a franchise at Hole in the Wall, you're part of a family that we're just growing. We're just starting, right? Imagine when you have 30, 40 owners, the amount of energy, synergy you're gonna get. So I imagine with your group, do you guys have that kind of camaraderie?
We do. So, we use Microsoft platform, so we can create teams and they can communicate. And I can think of our Gatsby Glass brand where it's project-based and they're installing fantastic projects, not just shower doors, but railings and all these different things. But there's so many variations of glass and the type of projects that can be installed is you're seeing these owners putting in these different type of projects and they're just asking well, how'd you do that? How'd you quote it? What did it look like from beginning to end, A to Z? So even as the more complex brands come out or the service lines, it's even more beneficial, that community, as you start to learn across the nation, the different types of design or different types of things that homeowners are searching for and how that process works. But yeah, we see that a lot within our system.
Yeah, that's really a nice, almost like an added bonus, And we talked about off air a little bit how when the time comes that I'm not here, I'm never starting a brand from scratch again. We will absolutely be buying, if I get into business again, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jet fuel a franchise for sure, because we always like to say you're starting on second base. You don't have to hit the ball. You're already there,
and you get a third base coach.
Yeah, and we're helping you get home, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we want to make money. Everyone wants to make money, but we are also in communities that need our services. There's so many communities that you guys, that HorsePower brands are in, they need the services that you're offering. And one of the things we get told a lot is, man, where were you, 6 months ago when I had that flood in my house,
Correct.
Or I tried calling 14 people and no one showed up, kind of thing. And so we know the need is out there for home services brands, but the need is out there for quality home services brands with people that have the support, nationwide support and local support to come make sure they succeed right. Which is why I like home services, why I've been following Mighty Dog for all these years.
I'll even follow on that community. A business owner is an entrepreneur, and I define an entrepreneur a few ways, but one of them's it's a person that has the creativity to figure out the answer to problems. Because in business, each day, each week, you have problems, and you need to search for the answers and be creative and find those opportunities and look for those fixes. But it's also a person that an entrepreneur is a continuous learner. And so even when we talk to candidates, do you want to be number one? Are you creative and willing to fix problems? Are you willing to continuously learn? And that ties to the community. Like if I came into a community right now, any franchise system, I'm going to the top 10 in any KPI, any service, and I'm saying, who's the number one who's the number one at close ratio? Who's the number one at average ticket? Who's the number one at local networking? And I'm calling those people. Now, I'm not getting advice from YouTube or any of these different things. And I'm going to lean on the franchisor, show me the process, show me the playbook. Now tell me the number one person. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to go talk to them, feeding off this playbook you've just handed me in the training. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to double down on everything that somebody else is doing better than me. And just the continuous, that will never stop. Like the entire time you're in the franchise system, to become an entrepreneur, you want to continue to learn.
Yeah, you want to innovate, you want to grow, you just want to learn.
So you mentioned earlier, I think maybe it was in the pre-show, and I made a note of it, about your all-in mindset. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is something that I've learned as a franchisor. So HorsePower is the first time I've been on the side of the table as a franchisor. And so what we did the first 2 years, there's a lot of excitement about HorsePower and what we can offer. But we were bringing in people from a franchise ownership level that it could be a number of things. Either we didn't set the right expectations on the front of what it takes to become a business owner and what it's going to take in effort, time, and everything in between, or their assumption that because of everything that we have to support, that it's now this easy thing. And so all-in mindset is one thing that I talk about a lot with candidates, and because everyone's searching for this answer to time. How much time is it going to take me to run this business? First and foremost, I want to talk to you about an all-in mindset. I want to know if this is going to be something in your life that you're going to prioritize ahead of many other things. Because in life, we have our physical health, our mental health, relationships. When you think about relationships, you got your spouse, your kids, your friends, your community. You got the business, you got money, you got adventure, trips, travel. There's so much in life that if you don't have the all-in mindset to apply to this business opportunity, hole in the wall, or one of the HorsePower brands, I just don't see how you can become successful. Now, how that translates into time, that solely depends on you and your history and your experience. I tell candidates all the time, I'm not sure how you recruit, retain, develop, incentivize, improve a team and are able to create that culture from day one. For me, and I think I've been able to show that I can help build teams. I have to go all in on any business that we're starting from zero. I couldn't, even with all the experience I have today, I don't think I could start a business that I would want it to be as successful as I would expect it to be without going all in initially and building that team from. So you got to lead it to live it. You got to live it to lead it type of mentality. My thing on all in, it's like, I don't know how you're going to act. Are you going to be resilient in those days where you were met with obstacles? Are you going to be able to push, adapt, and get through it? Are you going to be able to commit to it? And that means no excuses. Now, when you become the business owner, you're pointing the thumbs, not the finger. It's all on you now. And if you came from the corporate world, you had that opportunity to put the blame somewhere else. But once you become the business owner, that opportunity goes away, and now the blame goes to you. So there are no bad teams. There's bad leaders. And so all in mindset, it's just a number of things that I get to talk to candidates about. So when they do sign that franchise agreement with us, it's a better set of expectations of what it's going to take. And it's never around time. It's just all around mindset.
Yeah, make a note. Let's steal that, James.
You can steal all of it, guys. You can steal all of it.
No, I hear you. I once in a while with franchise candidates, we hear, can I do this hands off? Can I do it remote? And I cringe every time I hear that. And the other question I usually cringe at is, how long will it take me to make $1 million?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I say it a little different way than you do, but the same thing. I'm not sure because I'm not sure how committed you are. I'm not sure how hard you're going to work at this. How good are you at solving problems? How good are you at getting up tomorrow when yesterday was a really bad day and pushing ahead with things? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I even go on top of that is if you're getting into this strictly from a money only aspect, because we get candidates that are looking at potentially a fitness concept, which is a more of a passion lifestyle play for certain people than it is a business opportunity. And so I'm trying to encourage people, look at home services. How can you make this a lifestyle or purposeful mission? Because
that's good.
You're taking care of the most trusted asset of somebody's life. They're inviting you into their home. And so it's their most trusted place in their life. Second, they're actually inviting you to the home and they're giving you time. So if I invite you to my house to give me a proposal on whatever it is, if I give you an hour of my time, I treasure that time. So I just want the best service. I want you to provide me the answer to my problem and fulfill it. And so how do you create a team going back to take money aside? You're giving back to your community. You're employing people. You're producing a business. You're giving back to you're feeding so many families. Like, how do you find a different why and a different purpose? It goes back to the Simon Sinek and find your why and all those good things. But the more you can get candidates on the front end to believe in a bigger purpose than just the return on money, it's definitely going to make it easier for that first year or 2 years when they struggle at times to get through it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the break-even point is the big question. How celebrating? It's like it's going to take you a minute, right?
Correct.
We can get your phone ringing, but it's going to take you just a minute to get your feet underneath you. But once you do, I mean, the world's your oyster, right?
Yeah, just talking to you guys about your brand, like my mind was just spinning out there as we were talking about. I mean, if I started your brand in Lincoln, Nebraska, which I've grown up and lived in, I would go talk to 100 people that own companies in restoration and everything. We talked to builders, everything. That would take me about 2 days. I mean, I would call everyone I know and then ask them, do you know 2 other people in the space that I should call? And then I'd call them and then call them. And so like, I think it's so cool with your brand from a lead generation standpoint. And that goes back to like, you don't know how hard each person's going to work. Mm-hmm. And I think that the answer to that question of break even or revenue, I think it's going to be a much shorter time frame if I did your guys' business. Yeah. But I'm going to first go all in and I'm going to go I don't need your marketing play. Like that's just going to be the gravy on top.
Right.
I'm going to go create all the leads on my own, just through the connections that I have in my local market. But it's very interesting, your guys' business, because the demand's out there. We know that. And you can really go generate a lot of leads with your guys' business just by picking up the phone.
Yeah. We call it burning shoe leather. Get out there.
Yeah. Burning shoe leather. I like that.
You can steal that one. Okay.
I'll steal that one.
I'll steal all in. You can still, we did a podcast on it a couple months ago. Feel free to listen to that one. But really, this is the relationships that you make in your community. Right? Yeah. So those relationships are key, whether it's you're in chambers or BNIs or you're just having lunch with smart business people. There are a million opportunities out there. You just got to go find them. And that's key for the owners to do.
Yeah. And one of Wes, what's the name of his company? Robbins?
Yeah.
He's a construction guy. They do bathrooms, kitchens. And he says, you just have to show up and keep showing up. And I go, that is so, because when you stop showing up, people don't realize you didn't show up. They just forget about you. But if you show up again at the next meeting or the next event or the next, thing to do, then they remember you. And then you're top of mind once they need your business.
Yeah.
Keep showing up.
For sure. So do your brands talk to each other?
Yeah. So what we have long term, the short answer is yes, they can. It's difficult because we have all these business owners that are in their first year or 2 years of business. Because again, we've only been around for 5 years. So a lot of our franchisees have only owned their businesses for 1, 2, 3 years into it. And so they're going through those first couple of years where they're running around with their head cut off and they're trying to follow processes and they're reshaping all those good things. Our long term, to answer your question, is we want to build a system and an ecosystem where a homeowner can go to a single platform. So we've taken a different approach, and our approach is HorsePower Brands. Our customer is a person that wants to start a business in home services and become an entrepreneur, and they choose franchising as a pathway and HorsePower Brands as a partner. So that's where we're going to market everything around HorsePower Brands. But Howie is our initiative of creating a platform where that marketing message is to find a homeowner that doesn't want to do it on their own and they want to hire a pro to do it. So similar to, the Angie or the Thumbtack platform The difference is, and coming back to your point earlier, is I actually had the chance to meet Angie over a webinar, who owned the founder of Angie and Home Advisors. And so it was a short 20 minutes with her, but I had the chance to ask her, what one of the challenges in Angie, in this publicly traded company, huge. And she said, well, we don't own the contractor. We don't have that last connection point. So she said that, Tony, if you guys can build a system of owners that show up on time, do the right thing, provide a bid, do quality work, get paid, and do that consistently time and time again, they're going to be successful in home services. She's like, you wouldn't believe the number of people that don't pick up the phone or don't respond to the leads that we're sending to them and they're paying us for. So going back to Howie, the objective is to create potentially a lead generator in a local market, but more to create these franchise owners and these different brands to come together so that in Nashville or in Atlanta or Dallas, or take it even further down to McKinney, Texas, within Dallas, Fort Worth, they can create this relationship of under the Howie umbrella and go to partners in the market and say, we can take care of all of these services for you with these sister brands of Howie, and start to create something meaningful and share leads and all that good stuff. So that's the long-term goal. Right. We talk about that as being the 10-year vision and 10-year objectives. Now, the good thing is we've made some pretty good progress already towards Howie.
Would you allow someone not in HorsePower to be part of Howie if you don't have them? Yeah,
we built the technology to this point where we'd want to, if we never wanted to get into basements as a franchise model, there's other multi-location, privately owned or franchise models out there. Or if we never got into drywall repair, we wanted to partner. We built the technology to bring other service providers. The difference we want to do is create Howie as an exclusivity club, as opposed to Angie and Thumbtack that's reselling leads or sharing leads. We want it to be an exclusivity club where this pro is vetted and they're going to deliver a quality work each and every time. And so that we think over time, and again, 10 years from now, and hopefully I'm still with HorsePower and Howie at that time, but 10 years from now, you think about the power of that system.
Now,
and the value of
is
that.
it launched currently, or it's on the horizon?
It is currently launched. It's HowieKnowsHow.com.
Okay.
We haven't put dollars behind promoting it into the consumer market, but it is currently launched, and through emails and follow-ups and introducing homeowners to Howie, the family of brands, post-job is what we're doing kind of at this point. And then in November, I guess that's next month, right? Already in October.
Yeah.
And next month, we're launching version 2 of the site, which would include homeowner accounts and will allow a homeowner to establish an account online with Howie.
Yeah, that'd be fun. One of the things that I really love to do as a Zor, right, is talk with the other Zors. So we're with Fran Growth. There's 6-9 brands.
I think they have 9 brands as well.
Yeah, well, obviously Fran Growth doesn't own those brands. We're just helping all of us. But I've been able to become friends with a lot of the owners. And there are things that we do here at Hole in the Wall that benefit them. Like we've got some great contracts that we've been able to then show other owners that they could use. And then I've stolen plenty of things from the other owners as well. And that's kind of like, I'm obviously the franchisees talking to each other on all of our other platforms and your team's platforms. But then as the owners of the Zor itself, was like, do you guys have like brand owners, or is everything just falls on your plate? Like, do you have like a president of?
Correct. Yeah. Each brand has its own vice president or a president of the brand. And then we have group presidents. And today we do have a C-level team built out. So we didn't do any acquisitions this year intentionally. We want this foundation to kind of build up and build out. So we're still growing significantly month over month in system-wide sales and new franchisees. So I always tell people this is one of the easiest years I've ever had. Yet we're still growing significant revenue, and to the outside world they'd say like, that's crazy what you're growing. But internally, with no acquisitions and the team that we built now today, we got a great team, and it's certainly not me. There's 150 employees within HorsePower that is just consistently delivering on the value. But I want to go back to like the franchise space. What you mentioned is everyone at the franchisor level, we know how hard it is to be a franchisor, and that's a part of this business too. And what is cool is, James, I've met you briefly, but like I'm always willing to help people. And while you might feel like you're taking secrets here or knowledge there, I consistently take from people that only have 10 franchisees, because they figure something out in business or one way to communicate it differently. And I'm writing notes just as quick as, they may be writing notes of me, but it's cool within the franchisor space. I would say almost 80% of the people are willing to share and have a conversation, and they don't hold back too much.
That's been our experience as well.
Our experience as well.
Yeah. I want you to comment on this. I've heard you say this, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense to me now because you started life as a CPA, but on your website it says data is our strategic asset, and I'm thinking you guys must have a ton of data with that many people in the company and that many brands. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's one of our 3 uniques. So we do follow the EOS system, and data being the strategic asset is one of our uniques. And it is coming from the CPA days. Now, I have actually a lot smarter people on our team now from a number and finance background. So for something to be an asset, it means that it can produce income. And so how do you leverage data within your business to produce income? And so there's a couple ways. One, everyone talks about key performance indicators, analytics of your business, and that does help people. So if you have the right set of leading indicators, and so I always preach to give me leading indicators to success. So sales is a lagging indicator. It's the result. And yes, I could look at sales and how I ended the month and know where I'm going to sit month over month, but that didn't give me any insights of what I need to change in behavior of my team. And so we look at leading indicators to success, and we build our dashboards and performance metrics out based on that, so that each week when our business coach is meeting with our franchise owner or teams, they can have insightful conversations of what behaviors we're looking to change within the business. That's a leading indicator. So that's one part of data. The Howie, this is 10 years out. You start to think about all the data that we're collecting within the home by visiting the home. And so all we're doing right now is we're obviously collecting all this data, but we're tying it to a home address. That's the single factor or data point that we can tie everything to. So if we fly a drone over a roof to take pictures and imagery, can we save those images for the future? And will that have value? We will see. We're going in and measuring the exterior of a home to do a bid or a quote on painting. And there's tools, digital tools, but once you save that, you do have to pay the first time you do that. But if you save that information, does that benefit another brand or another service that we do in the future? So we're saving a lot of data points. Number of windows. We're measuring windows for blinds. If we become a window remodeler, does that benefit some way, somehow? So there's all this type of information that we want to save down to that home address within Howie. And then that in itself. So there's analytics, but I actually think then you're becoming a data company. And your value of your company is inside the data and less inside the actual service that you're providing. That to me is a 10, 20, 30-year goal or objective. But we're smart enough to know now, start saving the data now in a centralized database and figure out how we're going to leverage that into the future.
Love it.
Wow.
And then tying AI to that, and now you got yourself a juggernaut.
Yeah, my goal is to get to a point where I can hire even way smarter people, and then they tell me what to do with it. And hopefully they're just saying, well, Tony, you were smart enough to collect the data.
Yeah.
Now move over and let us do our thing. Yeah.
So obviously Howie's, that's a huge initiative. So where do you guys see yourself going? Where's the next 3 to 5 years for HorsePower leading?
Yeah. So we started in 2021 and in our 5th year, like I said earlier, 275 million is what we're targeting. By the end of 10 years, our vision, our goal, our big, hairy, audacious goal was to reach $1 billion in system-wide sales and to be operating in all 50 states. So have operating location in all 50 states. And my team does ask me, does that include Hawaii and Alaska? And I said, yes, it does. And so that's going to be a challenge for us to get to that goal. But based on our trajectory and trends with the 9 brands, we don't even have to add one more brand to reach $1 billion in system-wide sales. So when I look back in life, and I'm still with the company 10 years, and we hit 2030, and we achieve that mark, or we achieve it earlier, that's a chapter in my life that I'll always be proud of, that I was a part of something that created a lot of people and ability to build a business collectively to reach over $1 billion in system-wide sales.
So I'm curious, is your goal strictly to operate in the U.S., or do you guys plan on going international?
Good question.
We are in the U.S. today. We've submitted trademarks to Canada. So we want to expand into Canada. We want to determine what that looks like for HorsePower and how we go about doing it. So we don't have that answer yet. I'm having conversations with potential partners up in Canada on that front. And then we haven't looked anywhere else international. I don't have any experience or have had conversations outside that.
Yeah.
That's all right. Baby steps there. Canada is on our horizon. We've talked about it a few times, but there's a completely different set of trademark laws and rules up there that we got to figure that out too.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not in a hurry.
No, we're not in a hurry.
Not in a hurry.
No.
We'll let that happen down the road. Well, listen, Tony, we've kept you a while. We know we've got a conference that we got to go to tonight. Is there anything else that you want to share before we let you go?
You know, one of my personal objectives that I do like to share on these is that I just want to make a positive impact on entrepreneurship. So everything that I do is anything I'm doing in life, I'm just starting to reevaluate my life and make sure that I'm contributing times towards something that makes a positive impact towards entrepreneurship. And part of that is helping people make that decision to become an entrepreneur. And so that's why I love the fact that I'm on this podcast with you guys, because if somebody listens to this and considers Hole in the Wall franchise as their path to entrepreneurship, I'm going to celebrate that just as much as if they chose one of my brands, because I think it's a path towards wealth. It's a path towards freedom. It's a path towards everything that we hear and that we're always trying to chase on our own. And so that's how it ended. That's my mission. That's my purpose.
Well, your passion comes through unvarnished.
Sure does. I've asked this quite a bit to other franchise people, but is there a myth in franchising that you could bust? There's some that's out there. I mean, for me, the franchising was always brick and mortar, always McDonald's, right? So obviously, or it's too expensive. That was the thing. Is there anything out there that you think that people believe franchising is, but it's not?
It's a good question. I don't think it's the automatic answer to success. And so anyone that's looking at, I'm buying a franchise because I believe that's what's going to create me success, they're looking at it from the wrong mindset. I do believe that if done right by the right franchisor and doing everything that they should do on their end, it does reduce risk. And we were talking a little bit about, we have business owners that join a franchise and they want to do their own thing or try to change the system early on. And our feedback is always, at least, can you just follow what we're doing for 1 year to 2 years? Get really good at that before you get creative and do your own thing or try to figure out different things within the system. So it's not the ultimate answer to success, but I do believe it does reduce risk. And you should take a lot of time to learn about the franchisor, the people behind it, and even the community that you're looking to join, the franchisees, through validation and things like that.
One of the things that we always caution candidates is don't have a mindset of hiding behind the brand.
Correct.
You're new as Hole in the Wall in your community. You are Hole in the Wall.
Yeah.
So it's going to become whatever you build it into.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And frankly, we can't save you, right? So if you're not doing your part,
well, we're going to do everything we can.
We can help you the best we can, but if you're not willing to do your part, it's a sink or swim mentality out there. If you're not willing to put the work in, you're going to sink.
You need that all-in mindset.
You need that all-in mindset.
I think you guys are on the right path. I love your branding. I love the space. I think you guys you got the right talk tracks. I'm eager to see your growth over the upcoming years. And thanks for taking the time with me today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate those kind words.
If someone wants to learn more about HorsePower, what's the best way to do it?
HorsePowerBrands.com. It takes 10 minutes to discover a little bit more about entrepreneurship. We're not going to sell you. We're going to educate you. If the decision's right to join our group, we'll do it together. If not, we'll hope that you join entrepreneurship somewhere, somehow.
Outstanding. Tony, thank you.
Yeah,
Tony.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Hole in the Wall Business Podcast with Bill and James. We'd love for you to join our Facebook group and keep the conversation going. If you'd like to learn more about us and our business, check us out at holeinthewall.com. If you'd like to learn more about how to start a Hole in the Wall franchise, go to holeinthewallfranchising.com.